Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson. Before we get to the story coming out of Philadelphia and the Keystone Chapter, I want to remind everybody to subscribe to the Blind Abilities podcast. You can listen, download, and subscribe any place you're listening and getting your podcast. And you'll get and not miss any of the demonstrations from the iPhone 101 series and all the tech ability shows covering all the tech tidbits and news from around the world from a blindness perspective. Plus, our success stories. You know, stuff like little Timmy down the street overcoming a little bit of Braille or something. We all got our challenges, we all got our Kilimanjaros, and we all try and help each other break through those barricades and brick walls we find along the way. We do it together, and we do it right here on Blind Abilities. Right now, we're going to turn it over to Simon Bonifant and the Keystone Chapter talking about their second annual Believe You Can talent show coming up real soon. And now, without further ado, here's our host, Simon Bonifant and the Keystone Chapter. Hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone on Blind Abilities. We have a very special show for you all today. Today we're talking about the second annual Believe You Can talent show of the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania, Keystone Chapter. We have some familiar faces and some new faces. So we have Harriet Go, the president of the Keystone Chapter. How you doing, Harriet?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Very good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. We have David Goldstein, who's board member of the Keystone Chapter and also on the talent show committee. He's a new voice to Blind Abilities. How you doing today, David?
Good, Simon. How are you?
Very good. We have Lisa Bryant. Of course, many of you will remember her from the past. How you doing, Lisa?
I am great, Simon, and thank you so much for having us back on.
Absolutely. And we have Stacey Leap, who is a new voice to the podcast. She's going to be one of the hosts of the Believe You Can talent show. And she's also on the board of the Keystone Chapter. Very nice to have you, Stacey.
Thank you, Simon. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Harriet, why don't we talk to you first about Believe You Can? This is our second annual talent show, but for those who are new to it, can you explain what it is and all that?
Absolutely. So thanks, Simon. We are so excited to bring back Believe You Can this year. Believe You Can 2021 is a talent show. We got so much positive feedback from last year of people who enjoyed the talent show and wanted us to continue to do it. And we got some great, I don't think we had any negative feedback from last year. So we are so happy to bring it back on again this year. Just a little bit about the background about it. So Believe You Can started out as an idea that we came up with during last year while we were all quarantining and we couldn't meet in person. So we had to figure out a way that we could do some outreach without actually being out in society, and then to also engage our community and also to really help people to see the potential of blind people and what we really can do, and that we're not just, we're not always the receivers of services, that we can also contribute to our communities. So that's really how it all started. And then we came up with the idea of doing a talent show. We made it virtual so that everybody and anybody could join, and that anybody and everybody could see it from anywhere. And that was such a great idea that we were glad that we ran with it. And we had about 17 performers last year. Everyone who came to the show really enjoyed it. And as another positive to the show, other than the excitement and the entertainment and also the ability to outreach to our community and teach people about blindness, we also were able to use it as a fundraiser. We're able to kill many birds with one stone. So that's really how it all began. And we're bringing it back again this year, bigger and better. And we have some people who have already purchased tickets. And we really hope everybody who is able and who's interested can really get on board with coming to the show and seeing the great entertainment we have. We have a lot of new performers this year, and it's just an exciting time. And we're so thrilled that we can do this and that we can do this for not just people in our organization, but the greater public and the sighted communities that we all live in.
Yes, absolutely. So the listeners, you're going to hear us mentioning the National Federation of the Blind Keystone Chapter. I know I mentioned at the beginning. For those who are unfamiliar, Harriet, can you give a brief summary of what the National Federation of the Blind is and how we're part of that group?
Yeah, absolutely. So the National Federation of the Blind is a national consumer-based organization, a nonprofit organization, and it exists on 3 levels: the national level, the state level, and the local level. We have the national headquarters, which is based in Baltimore, Maryland, and within each state, we have an affiliate of the NFB. So where we are right now, we are part of the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania. And within each affiliate, there's any number of local chapters. And really the heart of what we do in the NFB is really done by the work that's carried on at the chapter level. The chapter does the work that's really the nitty gritty, get down, roll up your sleeves and get in touch with the community and really do that personal one-to-one or face-to-face, or in our case, because of COVID, virtual connections with our society. We also have many divisions and groups within the NFB and also within each affiliate. For instance, we have a guide dog division here in Pennsylvania, a deaf-blind division, and parent division, and also National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania blind students. So we have all those kind of things that help to carry out different aspects of what our organization believes in and what we strive to achieve, which is ultimately equality for all people, especially for people who are blind. And every year during the month of October, we focus heavily on equality. Traditionally, October has been dubbed as Meet the Blind Month. However, this year, our organization came up with a new name to really better capture what this month is all about. And it's called, with its new name, Blind Equality Achievement Month. So with that, that's really the thrust of why we are holding Believe You Can during the month of October, because October, we are particularly focused on reaching out to our communities and helping to reach equality for blind people through the work that we do. So through Believe You Can, we really want people to see blind people as equals and individuals who can live the lives that we want for ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, October being this month and the positive impact for blind people that it has and that we try to show, that's something that the NFB strives to do all year round. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely. We do that all year round. It doesn't stop. October is just the month that, we are making our collective efforts. 1 month and stand stronger and stand taller, more on a united front as a national organization. And history lends itself towards October because White Cane Safety Day is actually October 15th. That's the foundation for why Meet the Blind Month came about, and it coincides with October. So both of those things go together, and it's just a more powerful way to emphasize what our goals and our mission is by combining the fact that it's White Cane Safety Day and also Meet the Blind Month, or this year and going forward called Blindness Equality Achievement Month. And in fact, our Believe You Can talent show takes place on October 16th this year at 7:00 p.m. So just right after the heels of White Cane Safety Day. We don't want people to think, we just work on equality just in October. It's just, we are having more of a collective effort during that month. But you're absolutely right. We do this kind of work throughout the year here at the local level and throughout our affiliates and at the national level too. So we have various projects that we do in our chapter, but this is one of the ones that really has a powerful influence in many people's lives. I mean, not just for the performers who see themselves and seeing that, they can really do what they strive to be. I mean, a lot of these people are creative and performing artists, and blind people, like anybody else, need an avenue for which they can feel that they can believe in their dreams and reach their goals, even if it's not to be a singer or a dancer. Just seeing others striving for their goals, that has a very powerful impact and can influence other blind people to believe in their goals and achieving what they want to do in life too. So the positive impact is really, it's immeasurable, and you really don't know, you can't count, whose lives you influence or how many people you touch by doing something like this. So it's all the more empowering for those in it and those watching it as well.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's turn to David Goldstein now. David, you were involved in Believe You Can last year. You did a lot of the planning, and I know that you also were the one that got the website going as to what it is, and you're also the treasurer of the Keystone Chapter. Can you talk about your experience in that and your involvement in that?
Right. It is a lot of work to get everything up and running. The website took some time. The logo, which I actually also did, took a little bit of time. And we've gotten into the habit of changing the logo each year. So, moving forward, the star that is part of the logo is going to be a different color each year to signify which year we're in as far as the talent show. As far as that goes, and then as far as being the treasurer, I never imagined how much work it would be last year. I try to answer any emails as far as, when we get a notification of somebody buying a ticket, I thank them, send them an email. They obviously always get a response from PayPal for their payment, but I also respond with information about the show and, also thanking them for their purchase, because it is so important that these folks are coming and buying tickets and supporting the Keystone Chapter, which help us support all the different things that we do. And it is just a very busy time for us.
Yes. Can you give the listeners the web address where they can buy tickets and prices, and also maybe talk a little bit about how you got the web domain that we have for the event?
Sure. The website is believeyoucan.live. So believeyoucan.live. And the reason that we took believeyoucan.live and not believeyoucan.com, that of course was taken. And some other popular top level domains were also gone. And when we looked around to see what was available, we didn't know how Believe You Can was going to do. So I thought when we were going back and forth with the domain, I thought, if we get believeyoucan.live, and we chose live because it's going to be, it's a live event primarily. There's a few folks that send in an audio clip or a video clip in case their connection isn't great. They do that. But since it's a live event, we thought this would be perfect. In the back of my mind, I thought, well, if it doesn't go over, if Believe You Can is a flop, which as Harriet mentioned, it was not close to being a flop. It was very successful last year. But I thought we would have a domain that would be of value if we wanted to sell it down the line, because it would have, as it has now, it's got some decent backlinks and it's got a great name, whether you want to do something live or a little more morbidly, if you run some sort of organization that has to do with suicide prevention, believeyoucan.live. And that for me was the driving influence of purchasing that domain, where we'd be able to get something afterwards if believeyoucan.live did not go over well and we stopped doing it. I just thought it would be a good way to take care of that. So again, you can go to believeyoucan.live. It'll talk about the things that we're talking about here. Once we have a finalized list of performers, that will be up there. And you can also purchase tickets there. The tickets are $10 for an individual ticket. So if you're sitting at home and you just want to watch by yourself, that's fine. Those tickets are $10. You can also buy what we call a watch party. And the watch party tickets are $25. So if you're going to put it on and have a few folks watch, that is, you can purchase that. And again, obviously we're not checking. So whatever price point you want to use, we really appreciate any purchase that you make and the support of all the performers that come out and give their all to play in front of, again, a fairly large audience. And it is a lot of fun. Like Harriet said, it is a lot of fun.
Yes, and I know I mentioned it in last year's podcast, but one of the reasons why I like the website is if you take it as believeyoucan.live, it's really reflects our philosophy at the end of blind people, and we believe that you can live successfully as a blind person. So I like it in that way as well. Lisa, I know that you're on the committee, and I know that you're tasked with organizing the talent sheets for the performers and getting the order ready and all that stuff. Can you give the listeners a little bit of a sneak peek? Why would listeners want to watch the show? What kind of entertainment are we going to have?
Well, the entertainment is top notch, first of all. Last year, anyone who attended would agree that we had all kinds of performers. We had folk music. We had some who were semi-professional. We had a clogger. We had classical music. In fact, our own Jan Latuka, who will be performing again this year, won first place last year performing a classical piece. So, it's just great talent. It'll be a very entertaining show. My role is, like you said, I'm the talent coordinator. So I put that call out for the talent. I receive all of the entry forms. I follow up with the people and, because sometimes there's a little more information that we need about the performance. This year, we're also doing an individual sound check, which we did not do for everyone last year. And David, Harriet, you guys can correct me, but I don't remember doing it to the degree that we are this year. And that's just to make sure the show really runs as smoothly as possible so that people know how to queue up their mic, their camera. We want to make sure that audio quality is good. We want to make sure that their video quality is good. In fact, I'm working with one performer. I'm very excited about her act. So she's going to be doing spoken word. And she wanted to send me a video of one of her performances. And I'm glad she did, because the sound quality is not great and the video is very blurry, which is unfortunate because from what I could hear, the talent or the performance is great. So things like that, we're trying to work out ahead of time. So we're not too caught off guard the night of the performance. It is a lot, to be individually communicating with all of the talent. Some people are very good about responding via email, some not so much. So there may be a lot of phone calls back and forth. Yeah, that's kind of my role, is I'm like the contact for the talent. This year, again, we have a wide diversity of talent. Like I said, Jan is going to be performing again this year. Oh, something else we did. So when we initially announced the show, we first requested that any prior performers, so any of our performers from last year, we asked that they just kind of hold back for a moment and allow some new people to come in. So we did that for the first few weeks. And then when we realized, we can open it up, we have, quite a bit of a roster left. So now we're getting some repeat performers. So Desmond Jackson, who performed great piece. He's a jazz artist, plays the saxophone, and he will be performing again this year. Simon, you are back with us this year. We're very excited about that. So I think folks will be very pleased again, because like I said, it's a wide variety. Yeah, it's definitely worth the $10 ticket. You'll have the opportunity to vote at the end like we did last year, and we're working on making that process a little smoother as well.
Yeah, that's great. And Stacey, let's go to you now. This is your first year being involved with Believe You Can, and you're going to be one of the hosts of the event. Can you touch on that?
Oh, yes, definitely. So I'll be one of the few hosts that's on there. And I'm just super excited, just to introduce all the amazing performers that's going to be on our platform, and just being able to just make sure that people have fun and kick it, like you don't want to just let people just see it and just view that without, making entertaining. So I'll try my best to make some jokes, to do some stuff. If I have to do handstands and all that stuff, I probably will have to do it. But, audio describe it, of course.
Yes. I know Stacey had hosted an event that we did back around 6 months ago, and it was really good. So Stacey will not disappoint. I can tell the listeners on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now let's talk about another venture that has been going on recently. David and Lisa, you just launched a new podcast that's related to the blindness realm. It's called White Canes Connect. David, can you talk about how you got that started and what people can find there?
Well, it's kind of funny. Lisa actually got the ball rolling with that. We had been talking back and forth, and, she had approached NFB of Pennsylvania President Lynn Heitz about it, and Lynn was on board, and we started putting some things together. It's actually, at this point, technically not a podcast. We are still waiting to get inserted into the podcast directories. Hopefully will come at any moment now. So you can just use your favorite podcast player to get them. For now, all episodes are located on the NFB of Pennsylvania website at nfbp.org/WhiteCanesConnect, as well as on my website if they're not up there right away. But, we're a few episodes in, and it was just something that I think when Lisa thought about it, and maybe Lisa can touch on it a little more, she was going to write some things about it, and then thought, as she and I were talking about her starting a podcast, I think she had the idea, hey, maybe it would be better if we did a podcast, did some sort of audio program that was presented by the NFB of Pennsylvania and would be Pennsylvania centric, but not exclusive to folks in Pennsylvania. Obviously, we talk about things that are going on within the state affiliate and stuff like that, but we also touch on, we've got an episode coming out soon where we talk to one of our members, Hope, who is an ambassador for Envision, and we also obviously talk to Karthik from Envision. So there's things like that out there as well, and we'll continue to bring on things like that just to let the folks within the state of Pennsylvania. And again, if you don't live in Pennsylvania, I'm sure there's a lot of value to some of the shows that we bring out. Some of it, again, is going to be, Pennsylvania specific, but not all of them. We did an episode a while back on blind bowling. We talked to two guys who are from Pennsylvania. If you live in Texas, I'm sure you can look around and find the in your state, whether it's Texas or wherever, so you can get into bowling and bowl with a bunch of other blind folks and enjoy it and get out. You get some social activity, you get a little bit of exercise, and you have fun doing it. And that was a great episode. Like Harriet was saying, it's all about living the independent lives that we want to live. And, to show people that blind folks can do it, it might inspire somebody to get up off the couch and get out there and go join the bowling league, or, use a device or an app or whatever to help them do that. And I've enjoyed doing it. Lisa and I have great chemistry. If anybody watched Believe You Can last year, I was also part of the hosting crew, and it just works well. We work well together, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot different from doing a solo podcast, which I'm used to doing for a few years. So it's fun.
Yes. And David, you mentioned just now about your podcast. Where can people find your podcast, and what do you talk about on there?
My podcast is called the I Can't See You podcast, and I Can't See You is just 7 letters long, ICANTCU. So I Can't See You, it sounds like a whole sentence. It's only 7 letters. You can go to ican'tseeyou.com or to just about any podcast directory, and wherever you get podcasts, it's probably there. Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Odyssey, and the others. Basically, I always wanted to start a vlog, but for people that can't see, a vlog doesn't really mean anything. It's basically things that go on in my life, and most of them are blindness related, whether I'm traveling or like anybody else who has a visual impairment or blind, just things that happen around your house when something goes wrong, or if I'm here by myself, how do I do this or that or the other? And it's just, sometimes it's a funny story, sometimes it's not. And a lot of times when I think about doing something, whether it's traveling or not, I always think, oh my gosh, what if I get on the wrong train when I'm here at Penn Station in New York? What if I get on the wrong, I worry about it for a second. And then I think, wait a minute, if I get on the wrong train, what a great episode that would be. So it's just, basically that. I do have guests on. I've talked to, and I know Jeff has interviewed Roy Samuelson. He's been on. I've talked to Max Ivy, the blind blogger. And recently I talked to a couple of guys who have done a documentary about blind artists. So it's whatever is happening at the moment in my life, or with somebody approaches me, or I see something and think, geez, that would be interesting to have on. Let me have them on. And like the 2 guys from Straight Off the Canvas, which is the documentary about the blind artists from New York. I'm interested in art, and I thought, man, that would be good to have them on. So I had them on. So that's basically it. Again, more so than not, more of a vlog type of thing, but I do have guests and whatnot on there.
Very good. Now let's go to Lisa. Lisa, I know it was your idea to start the White Canes Connect podcast. Mm-hmm. What gave you the ambition to start that? And I know you also do some writing as well.
Yeah, and the two have a connection. Like David said, initially I approached Lynn about doing, I called it, for lack of a better word, like a spotlight section on the website. And actually Stacey was who I wanted to start with. I wanted to do a little spotlight on her journey coming to the NFB. And then I thought, there's so much already, not only on the website, but all of us are kind of inundated with text. And if you use screen readers, after a while, like you've got that kind of robotic voice going on all the time, and you do get accustomed to it. But when it's something like somebody's personal story, it just loses the intimacy, the authenticity of it. And so I think I might have run it by David and then went to Lynn, because with Lynn, it was a spotlight, on a printed sort of article on the website. But then I said to David, what if we do? Actually, I didn't even use the word podcast. I kind of described to David what I wanted to do, have somebody on to tell their story. It's somebody within our affiliate. And it was kind of another way to connect all of these chapters aside from either state convention or national convention. It was kind of like this interim way of gathering. And so David said, you're talking about a podcast, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. Is that what it's called? So that's the backstory of it. And it's really taken off well. And again, Simon, thank you for allowing us to come on and talk about it, because one thing we really want people throughout the affiliate to pitch us some ideas. We don't want this to look too focused on one chapter versus the other. The whole point was to really unify or emphasize the unity that there is within the chapter. We want to show that representation of Philly versus Erie or Pittsburgh or Harrisburg or, wherever. So that's the goal of it. The goal of it is to really kind of showcase what's going on within our affiliate.
Great. And you mentioned that you were going to do a spotlight on Stacey, but I believe that you did a White Canes Connect podcast on her.
She was the first interview.
Okay.
Yep. She was the very first show. Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So for the listeners, if you want to find out a backstory on Stacey, head over to White Canes Connect and you can do that. And I believe you also talked about Believe You Can on there as well, right?
Yes, we did. That hopefully will be live this week since the show is next week. So yeah, we had a great, one thing we haven't talked about, one of our performers this year is our very own Harriet is performing this year. We kind of let that cat out the bag on the podcast. So I don't see any reason why we can't announce it there. We don't necessarily have to say any more, Harriet. We can let people just tune in and be very pleasantly surprised as to what you're doing. But when I got her entry form, I had to email her. No, I think I called you, Harriet, and I said, did I see what I thought I saw? Is that your name? Because Harriet can be a little bit of a prankster. So I didn't know whether, is this for real? Am I being pranked?
I actually sent it to you and I said, here's a talent form that I received. So
yeah.
So making you think it was, another. I didn't want you to suspect in the slightest. I did what I meant to do, and So thanks for letting that secret out, Lisa, which is not a secret anymore. And so I'm actually performing for the first time on Believe You Can in our 2-year stint. So I'm really excited to be doing that. And I really hope you all come out and support not just me, but all of our performers and all about helping each other. So go to that website, believeyoucan.live. The show is October 16th, 7:00 p.m.
Yeah.
All right. And if someone wanted to contact someone about Believe You Can, they may have questions. Who's the best person to contact? Where can they send an email?
We actually have a few different emails, but we set up a Gmail account today that I think would be the best place for folks to go. And that's believeyoucanshow@gmail.com.
Okay, very good. Well, we look forward to seeing all the listeners in the Zoom audience of Believe You Can. We know it's going to be a great show for you all to listen to. And thank you, David, Harriet, Lisa, and Stacey for coming on to Blind Abilities. We really appreciate it. And break a leg, as they say.
Thank you, Simon.
Thanks for having us, Simon.
Yes, thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
And also good luck to you too, because you're performing in there too.
Yes, I will be.
All right, Believe You Can, everyone.
All right.
When we share
what we see through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations
and the
reality
of
blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.